What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Entre Mike back with the Entre short for entrepreneur. And in today's video, we're going to be going over step by step how to book your first hotshot load in 2025 or 2026. Whenever you're watching this video, we do these videos once a year to show you step by step, in depth, everything you're going to need before you book your first load. Before we get into it, all I'm asking for you to do is like the video. This video is going to take me a good bit of time. Like I said, I only do it once a year because it takes a good bit of preparation just to make the video. So if you could just hit the like button, that's all I'm asking for. And before we hop right into the video, right, I want to go ahead and go over the topics that's going to be discussed. The very first topic that everyone needs to know before booking your first load is the difference between a freight dispatcher, a freight broker. The differences you need to know is broker, carrier, and dispatcher, because a lot of guys get this confused. It's pretty simple. Then we're going to go over the best load boards for a hotshot. We're going to go over how to book a load on DAT1 in depth for a hotshot truck. Then after that, we're going to go over the required documents that you need before booking your first load that every single freight broker is going to ask you for on every single load. You're probably wondering, like, yeah, Mike, I'm going to book my first load, but how do I get paid on my first load, right? So we're going to go over how to get paid on your very first load. There are also some things that you need to know about your truck before hopping on the load board. We'll also go over that. And then lastly, so we can get into the video, it'll be negotiation tips at the very end. So make sure you stay to the end to take all the information in. And like I said, before we hop into it, just hit the freaking like button and let's do it. So in order to go over the differences between a freight broker, a freight dispatcher, and a carrier, I want to use a simple analogy. We're also going to include the shipper and receiver, right, in this scenario. Let's say warehouse 1 wants to ship his freight to warehouse 2, right? He's going to have a freight broker agent to handle the shipment of the freight from point A to point B. First off, you need to know who you are. You are the motor carrier, right? You are the carrier. You are going to be the person who carries the freight. The broker, on the other hand, is the person who brokers the freight. So if warehouse 1 wants to get it from 1 to warehouse 2, the shipper and warehouse 1 is the shipper and warehouse 2 is the receiver. They're going to need a freight broker to handle that load going from warehouse 1 to warehouse 2. Now you as the carrier are going to be the person to carry that load from warehouse 1 to 2. You're taking possession of the freight. You carry the freight. The broker will never touch the freight. He's just going to handle the load. Let's say warehouse 1 pays the broker to get it moved for $1,000. He may give that, he may give $800 to the carrier in order to ship that load. He pockets $200. So a lot of people are confused. They think freight brokers are freight dispatchers. A freight dispatcher is the person working on your team, because in this scenario with warehouse 1, the freight broker is trying to save warehouse 1 as much money as he can for that shipment while making a profit. The freight dispatcher on the other end works hand in hand with the carrier, right? So if I'm the carrier, I have a freight dispatcher in order to negotiate as much as he can to get me as much money as I can to go from warehouse 1 to warehouse 2. This is a very ABC 1, 2, 3 example. I hope it made sense, but just know that a freight broker works really tight with the shipper. So they are a shipper representative, whereas a freight dispatcher is a carrier representative or a contractor that works with the freight carrier, that works with a carrier in order to get loads booked, right? And we're going to go a little deeper into this. It'll make more sense when we get on the load boards. If you guys are kind of confused, maybe I have to make a video dedicated to it. If not, just sound off in the comment sections if you like the example. In the next chapter, we're going to go over the best load boards for hotshots. This is always debated heavily in the community. Me personally, when I was over the road myself doing hotshot trucking, so you got 3 load boards that most people use for hotshot trucking. You got DAT, also known as dial a truck. You got truck stop, and you also have central dispatch. Truck stop and DAT are going to be used for your freight. Central dispatch is used to haul vehicles, right? So I know you guys probably see a lot of content creators hauling vehicles. More than likely, if they didn't get it on a standard load board like DAT or truck stop, they got it off of central dispatch because it's only 4 vehicles. Of course, for guys watching with like a 3-car hauler wedge, 4-car hauler wedge, you're going to be on a central dispatch, more than likely, instead of just the load boards. I hope this section helped. I do not have any biases on what's needed. Me personally, I use all load boards. I use as many as I could because there are going to be some areas or some brokers who are not on all load boards, right? So me personally, I had a subscription with both, right? That's not me suggesting that you do the same. I'm just telling you what I did, because if you ask me which one was better, I'm kind of in the middle on it. It's not like one load board is better than the other to me, just being completely honest. Now we're going to go over the required documents that you're going to need a PDF version of every single time to send to the freight broker in order to receive your rate confirmation. So the first thing you're going to need in order to book your first load is an active MC number. All right. And if you don't know what that means, you're going to have a DOT number, which allows you to haul within state lines. That MC number allows you to cross state lines, right? So if you want to go interstate, you need an MC number. When getting granted active authority, you're also sent out a MC certificate letter, which basically grants you active authority. It's your certificate to show that you've been a valid active carrier since the date that's stamped on the page. So that's the first thing you're going to need. Other than that, you're going to need a W-9. A W-9 is just your tax information. Of course, at the end of the year, if you book 10 loads with TQL, let's say it was $20,000 worth of invoices, they're going to 1099 you at the end of the year with that W-9 information that's listed on the, on the actual page. A blank W-9 is very easy to find on Google. Like, you can Google it, download it, put your company information. Very straightforward. Now, if you're going to have a factoring company is how you get paid first, same day or next day for a load. We'll go into that more in depth. You're going to need what's called a notice of assignment. Notice of assignment is something that usually the factoring company will have to send out the first few times. They can request it from the factoring company. Sometimes they'll accept it from you as well. After that, you're going to need a COI, a certificate of insurance. Of course, they want to know you got valid insurance. A lot of these freight brokerages are using RMIS or like a highway in order to vet your carrier to make sure that you're actually a real business. And actually, they'll also be validating your insurance to making sure your insurance is up to date, you're not lapsing, etc. Every single broker that you run into on a freight load board is going to send you out a carrier packet that you will have to fill out if you are a first-time person running for them, right? I'll show you a picture of a carrier packet. Usually there's no more than 3 to 5 pages to sign with your business information. It's not a test. You guys got all of this information with your documents. It can be pretty time consuming. So when they send these carrier packets out, you want to sign them as soon as possible to show them that you're serious for this load. A lot of guys, and I don't recommend it, they'll be driving while trying to book a load. If you've been in the industry, you pull over ASAP to fill out that carrier packet, because if you don't, it shows that you're not serious. So carrier packets, of course, are a big part of what you'll have to fill out in order to book your first load. Some brokers will actually require a voided check as well. Just a blank check, void written on the top of it. This is just so they could pay you out for whatever reason. Your factoring company may not do it. They'll have your banking account and routing number to send out that invoice. And the very last piece of document that you will need if you're going to use a freight dispatcher, right, will be a power of attorney. This power of attorney just grants them the ability to book loads on behalf of your company. There are some. All right, guys, I'm going to show you guys first to the DAT1 discount that you get with going through the link in the description. I'm bringing up this part before we hit the load board because everybody's going to ask, what load board subscription should I get? When I was over the road myself, I had DAT1 Pro. This video is going to be showing DAT1 Office. No, I'm not telling you to get a subscription of $300 a month. I'm just with the subscription just to show you guys the best version of DAT at this current time. Now it is after hours that I'm making this video. It's close to midnight where I am, but to show you how to book your first load for a Hotshot truck, I don't necessarily need to be online, right? By the way, like I said, it's about midnight. That puts into the time and consideration I put in to, make this video. So make sure you like the video for you, man, dude. All right, so we are going to hit search loads, and we got Chicago, Illinois up, right? So we're gonna go through this step by step. Let's say you lived in Atlanta, Georgia. You would type in Atlanta, Georgia for your origin. This is where you're gonna be picking up your load. DHO stands for deadhead origin. All right, this means I don't want to deadhead or drive the distance to more than 150 miles to pick up my load. You can make this 50 miles, you can make this 125. Just know, of course, the further out you go, the more options you're gonna have. 150, 125 to 150 is usually the standard, especially for LTL. Dry vans, reefers, and flatbeds are mainly between 50 to 75. Like, they don't really have to deadhead as much as LTL equipment, but you are the guys watching this video. So for equipment type, you'll put flatbed. If you want to get creative, and to look at other options, you can do flatbed or step deck. You could also do flatbed, and you could do step deck. All right, these are the most common options that you could put. You don't want to really go, I see some guys go RGN. You really don't want to put RGN, and just know that 90% of your loads are going to come from flatbed hotshot, right? If you have a standard 40-foot hotshot. So what about load type? I put full and partial because some freight brokers put loads as full. They'll put full loads on as partials and partial loads on as full. So I just kind of want to see everything. For length, of course, if you're a 30-foot hotshot, you'll put 30. Of course, I'm going to recommend that if you're brand new and you're watching this, that you go with the 40-foot hotshot. But that's just my suggestion. Yeah, so we're going to, in this section, briefly go over everything you need to know about your truck before you hit the road. So you're going to need your truck, of course, attached to your trailer with your tarps, chains, straps, binders, everything into your truck. Fill it up with diesel, like full the diesel all the way up to full, your def all the way up. And you're going to want to go over a CAT scale empty to know your empty weight. Let's say your gross vehicle weight rating or gross combination weight rating is 26,000. You're going to want to subtract that from your overall gross vehicle weight, which you full up, fill with all your equipment. Let's say your overall weight comes to 18,000, around 18,000 flat. That means that you can haul no more than 8,000 pounds of load. Like that's how much you can haul with that equipment. I just wanted to cover that before we go over the weight. Let's hop back into the video. So date range is, of course, when you want to pick up the load. So we're just going to go ahead and hit search. Let's go ahead and go to the highest. Well, we're not going to do this. If you guys want to watch weekly videos where I go over the highest rate per mile and highest rates on various load boards, I want you guys to just stay tuned to the channel. Don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button. But let's go ahead and go a little deeper into everything on here. So age is going to be when the load was posted. So this is what I lived on when I booked loads. Like I didn't necessarily go to the highest rate or rate per mile like I broadcast in videos. I would want to see the loads getting posted now, because usually that's where you find your hottest freight at. If loads are sitting on the load boards, it's because they have a hard specification to meet. They're in a the load is going to a dead zone, etc. We're not going to go too deep into that. Rate, you can of course adjust this to highest rate per mile, highest rate. Trip is how many miles it's going to be. All right, of course, common sense. This is where it picks up. This is where it will drop off. This is the pickup date, equipment type. Like I said, I'm just going to take these off for now, just to show the flatbed hotshot. Let's do this. Yeah, the flatbed hotshots. And let's go to a hotter zone. Let's go to like Chicago, right? But yeah, so equipment is, for these, they'll say flatbed hotshot. If you have like F for flatbed, FD for flatbed step deck. For length, 40 feet. Weight, the weight. Capacity will be if they're trying to book it as a full load or a partial load. Then these are the freight brokerages and their contact information. Now, when you click on the load, they'll also have comments. They'll have either the extension for the phone number, or they'll have, you know, it's 220 empty containers. They'll have the commodity listed. There's a commodity section on here, same for length and width. A lot of guys don't pay attention to this, right? Now, this is what's really cool about this tool too. When using the pro version and up, you get a spot market, like rate up. You get a rate insight tool on what are lows usually paying to go from Chicago, Illinois to this Wisconsin market. On average, the spot rate is around 363, right? And this load is paying around 329. This is how you use your negotiation tactics. This is a big part of how you negotiate. If you know this load moves about $100 more on this load, chances are you could probably squeeze out another 100 or 200 bucks on this load, right? And you can also see the contract rate too. Now let's go ahead and talk about freight factoring real quick. Now, if you guys want freight factoring from my factoring agent down at Riviera, check the link in the description for that. But freight factoring is where they basically buy your account receivables, means the invoices that you, or your rate cons that you book with your freight broker, at a percentage of usually anywhere from 2.5 to, I've heard, as high as 5% for some factoring companies. Negotiate as much as you can to get that rate lower. That rate is sometimes based on volume. We don't have to go too deep into that. I do have a factoring video that's going to drop pretty soon. Just stay on the lookout for that. But if you guys want to get paid for your loads same day or next day, look into a factoring company. This credit score is going to be very important when factoring your loads, because if they do not meet the threshold for the credit scores, you'll have to go through sketchier ways of getting paid from these freight brokerages. Those sketchier ways could be quick pay. That's what they call it, where they pay you in 3 to 5 business days. That's why they'll need that voided check. You also have POD, where you can get paid cash on delivery, but I wouldn't trust that as much unless they really do have a check on site. I stayed away from those, but I'm not saying that it's not a possibility that you won't run into it. So yeah, this is a main synopsis on how you can book your first load using DAT1. And like I said, this is the office subscription, but when I was over the road, I didn't need anything higher than the pro version. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope this had enough information for you guys to learn how to book your first load. Of course, you can always book a consultation with me down in the link in the description if you feel like you need extra help. I'll see you guys next time on the next video. Make sure you like the video. I'm going to ask one more time, and then drop a comment down on what you would need more help on, or that you really gained out of this video. I hope it really helped, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.